We'll start you at the bottom, Director Thompson smirked, leaning back in his leather chair. Entry-level customer service. It's the best way to learn the business. I sat across the mahogany conference table at Pinnacle Technologies, maintaining a polite smile as the board of directors discussed my potential employment. They had no idea they were sitting in what would soon be my building, discussing my future role in what would soon be my company. That's very generous, I replied, watching Thompson fidget with his Patek Philippe watch. The same model I'd bought my assistant for her 5-year anniversary at Nova Enterprises, my secretly owned tech empire. Now, Miss Harrison, Director Williams chimed in, her condescension barely masked. Your resume is interesting. A computer science degree from Stanford, some freelance coding work. She wrinkled her nose at my deliberately understated CV. If only they knew that the freelance work had led to creating the most advanced AI trading platform in the industry. That while they looked down their noses at me, Nova Enterprises had been quietly acquiring their competitors, their partners, and soon, Pinnacle itself. We just want to ensure you understand the corporate world, Thompson continued. It's quite different from whatever it is you've been doing. Whatever I'd been doing included building a $20 billion tech company under a different name. But they didn't need to know that yet. Of course, I nodded. I'm eager to learn. Director Chin checked his phone, frowning. The market's been unpredictable lately. Nova Enterprises is causing havoc with their new trading platform. I suppressed a smile. Nova's platform, my platform, had been systematically outmaneuvering Pinnacle for months, setting up this very moment. Never heard of them, Thompson dismissed with a wave. Probably another flash-in-the-pan startup. My phone buzzed silently in my pocket. A message from my legal team. Final paperwork processed. Acquisition complete. Now then, Williams said, pulling out some forms. We'll start you at $45,000 annually. Standard benefits package. 2 weeks vacation. The double doors swung open. My assistant, Catherine, entered, perfectly timed as always. Dressed in Chanel worth more than the salary they were offering, she spoke crisply. I apologize for the interruption, but Miss Harrison, your acquisition of Pinnacle Technologies is complete. The paperwork has been filed. The press release goes out in 5 minutes. The room froze. Thompson's Mont Blanc pen clattered to the table. Williams's forms slipped from her hands. Chen's phone dropped into his coffee cup. I'm sorry, Thompson stuttered. What acquisition? I stood slowly, smoothing my Armani suit. Oh, did I forget to mention? Nova Enterprises. My company has just acquired controlling interest in Pinnacle Technologies. We've been buying shares through subsidiaries for the past 6 months. Nova, your company? Williams whispered, her face draining of color. Yes, I smiled, accepting the folder Catherine handed me. I thought it would be interesting to see how Pinnacle's leadership treated a potential employee. I must say, you've been enlightening. This is impossible, Chin protested. Nova's CEO is a reclusive tech genius who never appears in public. That was a convenient fiction, I finished for him. Though I must say, it was amusing watching you dismiss my company as a flash-in-the-pan startup, just moments ago. Thompson stood so fast his chair rolled backward. Now see here. No, I cut him off. You see here. I pressed a button and the conference room screens lit up with Nova's market dominance, technological breakthroughs, and acquisition history. While you were busy looking down on a woman with a computer science degree, I was building the company that would eventually buy yours. Catherine distributed new documents to the stunned board members. These are the terms of your severance packages, she explained coolly. Though some of you may be offered positions in the restructured organization. Starting at the bottom, of course. It's the best way to learn the business. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. My phone buzzed again. Press release live. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, financial tickers in Times Square lit up with the breaking news. I suggest you all take some time to review your options, I said, gathering my things. Catherine will schedule individual meetings to discuss your futures with the company. Those of you who still have one. At the door I paused. Oh, and Director Thompson, that entry-level position you offered me? I think you'll find yourself uniquely qualified for it now. The doors closed behind us, leaving them sitting in what was now my conference room in my building in my company. Catherine, I said as we walked to the elevator, Make sure security updates their access levels. Wouldn't want unauthorized personnel in sensitive areas. Already done, she smiled. And the champagne is chilled in your new office. The corner one with the view they said you'd never have. The elevator doors slid shut on the sound of chaos erupting behind us. Sometimes the best way to handle condescension is to let people show their true colors, before revealing who's really in charge. And we were just getting started. The next morning I arrived at Pinnacle, now Pinnacle Technologies, at precisely 8 a.m. The lobby buzzed with nervous energy as employees tried to understand what the acquisition meant for them. Miss Harrison, Catherine greeted me at the private elevator, tablet in hand. The former board members are waiting in the conference room. They've been there since 6 a.m. trying to find a way to challenge the acquisition. I smiled, picturing them scrambling for a loophole that didn't exist. Let them wait. I have something more important to handle first. We walked through the open plan office where yesterday's customer service reps, the very position they'd offered me, were starting their day. Nervous eyes followed me as I stopped in the center of the floor. Everyone gather around, please. They clustered together, coffee cups clutched like shields. In their eyes I saw dismissal and condescension, just as I had yesterday, but now laced with fear. First, let me introduce myself properly, I began. I'm Alexandra Harrison, founder and CEO of Nova Enterprises. As of yesterday, your new chief executive. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. A young woman in front, badge reading Sarah Chin, raised her hand hesitantly. Yes. I nodded. Are we all being fired? I noticed a computer science textbook tucked under the files on her desk, the same one I'd used at Stanford. Actually, Miss Chin, I said, I'm more interested in why a computer science major is working in customer service when your coding skills could be revolutionizing our AI systems. She flushed. Director Thompson said I needed to learn the basics first. Of course he did, I said dryly. Catherine, please show Miss Chin to the development floor. I think she'll find the work there more suited to her skills. As Catherine led her away, I turned back to the crowd. Let me be clear. Under Nova's leadership, positions will be based on merit, not politics. Skills, not connections. Innovation, not tradition. My phone buzzed again, security informing me the board members were getting restless. Those who've been coasting on privilege. I glanced toward the conference room. Well, you're about to find out what starting at the bottom really means. The elevator dinged. My technical team rolled in carts of brand new equipment. Everyone will be receiving updated workstations, I announced. The technology you've been using is several generations behind Nova's standards. Training begins this afternoon. Another buzz. Thompson was demanding to see me. How quickly the mighty fall. One more thing, I added, picking up a customer service headset from a nearby desk. Today I'll be working alongside you. Let's see what we can learn about the business, from the bottom up. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. Whispers spread. She's actually going to take calls. And so the new era of Nova Pinnacle Technologies began. Catherine, I called. Please inform the board that I'm busy learning the basics of the business. They're welcome to join me on the phones if they'd like to demonstrate their commitment to starting at the entry level. For the next hour, I handled customer calls alongside the team, showcasing Nova's advanced customer service AI system, the very tool that would soon make their jobs easier. The energy in the room shifted. Fear gave way to excitement as they glimpsed the future I was bringing. Miss Harrison, Catherine approached during a brief break. Director Thompson is insisting. Is he now? I checked my watch. Well, I suppose we've kept them waiting long enough. Time to show them what starting at the bottom really looks like. As I walked toward the conference room, I caught my reflection in the glass walls. I didn't look like someone learning the basics. I looked like someone about to deliver a masterclass in corporate karma. The board was about to learn that sometimes the bottom isn't where you start. Sometimes it's where you end up. And their descent was only beginning. The conference room doors swung open. I found the former board members exactly where I'd left them, though considerably more disheveled after their all-night strategy session. Finally, Thompson exploded, his tie askew. Do you have any idea who we are? Former directors of a now subsidiary company? I replied calmly, taking my seat at the head of the table. Though your current status is pending review. Catherine stepped forward, distributing documents, performance evaluations from the past 5 years. The data painted a damning picture. Declining innovation, stagnant growth, a toxic corporate culture that had driven away top talent. "This is absurd," Williams sputtered, flipping through the pages. "You can't possibly judge our performance." "I can," I interrupted. "And I have." Nova's AI analytics platform has been monitoring Pinnacle's operations for months. "Would you like to see what it found?" I pressed a button. The screens filled with incriminating data. Discriminatory hiring emails, financial reports revealing suppressed innovation, records of qualified candidates shoved into entry-level positions based on gender, age, or background. "Particularly interesting," I continued, pulling up specific emails, "were your discussions about my application yesterday. Another tech girl who needs to learn her place." "That was you, wasn't it, Director Thompson?" His face flushed purple. "Those emails are private." "Were private," I corrected smoothly. "Like this building was private. Like your jobs were private." "Things change." Catherine entered with another stack of folders. "The new organizational charts, Miss Harrison." "Ah, yes." I smiled, distributing them. "Let's discuss your futures with Nova Pinnacle Technologies." "You can't seriously intend to demote the entire board," Chin protested. "Demote?" I laughed softly. "Oh no, Director Chin. Most of you are being let go." I paused deliberately. "Though we do have some entry-level positions available. After all, it's the best way to learn the business, isn't it?" The irony hung heavy in the room. I turned to Thompson. "You'll be pleased to know there's an opening in customer service. Starting salary, $45,000. Standard benefits, 2 weeks vacation. Sound familiar?" "This is outrageous," he sputtered. "I have 20 years of experience." "And now you'll have the opportunity to gain some actual wisdom to go with it," I cut in. "Although, given your history of discrimination, I'm not sure you're qualified even for that role." Williams tried a different angle. "Surely we can come to some arrangement. Your technology combined with our experience." "My technology," I snapped, "has already replaced most of your outdated systems. As for your experience," I gestured toward the damning data on the screens, "it's not exactly the selling point you think it is." My phone buzzed. A message from development. "Sarah Chin, the customer service rep I'd promoted earlier, has already identified 3 critical improvements to our AI system." "You know what the real irony is?" I said, rising and walking to the window. "If you'd looked past your biases yesterday, you might have realized Nova could have saved Pinnacle. Instead, you were too busy trying to put me in my place, never realizing it was actually your place that was changing. The shareholders won't stand for this." Thompson tried one last time. "The shareholders?" I raised an eyebrow. "They're ecstatic. Nova stock is up 30% since the acquisition. Pinnacle's shares jumped 45%. Turns out the market appreciates competence over hubris." Catherine reappeared at the door. "Miss Harrison, the press is here for your announcement." "Excellent." I smiled. "Time to introduce the new face of Nova Pinnacle Technologies." I glanced at the former board. "You might want to skip this part. It could be uncomfortable watching your replacements announce your obsolescence." As they shuffled out, shadows of their former arrogance, I stopped Thompson at the door. "Oh, and about that entry-level position?" I said lightly. "I'm afraid you're overqualified. We're looking for people with potential, not expired privilege." The press conference was brief but impactful. I announced Nova's vision for Pinnacle. Complete digital transformation, merit-based advancement, a culture valuing innovation over tradition. Sarah Chin sat in the front row, proudly wearing her new developer badge. In her eyes, I saw the same fire I'd once carried. The determination to prove that talent doesn't need to start at the bottom when it's already aimed at the top. Later that evening, in my new corner office, the very one Thompson had sworn I'd never occupy, Catherine handed me an envelope. "Director Thompson's application for a junior developer position," she said, struggling not to laugh. He even included a note about being willing to learn the basics. I picked up the application, amused. "File it under lessons learned," I said, turning back to my work. Sometimes the best way to teach humility is to let people taste their own medicine. Because sometimes the corner office isn't handed to you. It's earned by proving everyone wrong. 1 year later. I stood in the same conference room, now addressing a very different board of directors. Sarah Chin, now head of AI development, was presenting her latest breakthrough, a system that had revolutionized the industry. Thompson still sent the occasional desperate job application. Williams had opened a small consulting firm, though few sought the advice of someone who had once dismissed Nova. Chin had retired quietly to Florida, likely still trying to understand how he'd miscalculated so badly. Meanwhile, Nova Pinnacle Technologies had tripled in value. Our culture of merit and innovation had become a case study in modern leadership. And that entry-level position they'd once offered me? We'd transformed it into a fast-track program for overlooked talent, proving that sometimes the best way up isn't starting at the bottom. It's recognizing potential wherever you find it. Miss Harrison, Catherine's voice broke my thoughts. Your next appointment is here. Another tech startup seeking guidance. Send them in, I smiled, remembering my own journey. Let's see if they have what it takes to build something extraordinary. After all, the best revenge isn't just success. It's building a future where others can succeed too.